I think businesses bring a set of skills and an attitude that is critical to social development, and particularly from the bottom up. If you think about what's a sustainable economy without commercial businesses is impossible to imagine. And so I think teaching the ideas of innovation, about increased productivity, about listening to and responding to consumers, that's what businesses do, and that's how economies build and improve themselves. Certainly today, as Cargill, we're confronted with a lot of geopolitical threats. We have a very big business in the Ukraine, which is important not only to our employees in the Ukraine, but to other countries where we serve customers with products that are grown in the Ukraine. So in our case, problems in one country in our supply chain affects both the origin and the destination. And so we have been a big proponent at a macro level of trying to standardize international norms for food trade. At a local level, we have one set of requirements, whether it's in the water that we discharge from our facilities or the kinds of laboratories that we build. We could blindfold you and take you to many places and you wouldn't know you'd moved or what country you were in. So we have an internal standard which is helpful to us in fulfilling our promise, particularly to our shareholders for whom this is a huge issue. But to just think about it on a Cargill-wide basis underperforms the real need that's out there, which is to get a global standardization so we can feed ourselves collectively. The biggest challenge in addressing global hunger to me is to get everyone to work against a shared set of facts. I often use Senator Moynihan from New York, who said everybody's entitled to their own opinion but not their own facts. And we are invited as Cargill to a lot of venues to talk about these things, whether it's with the Chinese government or in multilateral institutions. And it's quite remarkable for something that in many ways is an observable and knowable set of facts that people bring different biases to the data that they select and therefore the argument. And so I think some of the challenges are getting a common set of understandings of what the challenges are. I think the second one is most governments talk about food security in the context of their 85 million or 112 million citizens. We tend to look at it as 7.2 billion. The weather in the world most years will allow us to provide the calories and the protein that we need to feed everyone, but it won't do it in each and every geopolitical constituency. And yet a lot of the policies that are made are not designed to improve global food security. They're designed to improve national food security. And the sum of 195 national policies doesn't constitute a global policy. And so to raise the level of the discussion to feeding everyone, and then what is each country's role in that, and how in that regard are we interdependent, is to me the biggest impediment. The science is there, the soil is there. If we make meaningful and positive use of our water, the water is there. The politics and the protectionism and the selfishness is the impediment. I think that business in multilateral organizations and the collaboration that exists between them is critical to solving these big problems. We've already talked earlier about the fact that they are cross-border issues, and one of the big positives of the best NGOs that we work with is they truly have become more multinational than many of the companies that they work with. I think the other one is there's an issue of message about how to feed ourselves, and I think that can be created. And then there becomes the issue of messenger. And I think in many cases, big business can't be the messenger for the message about dealing with global hunger. And I think that's where the best NGOs really have a role that's vital to the success of commercial businesses. They can take these messages of interdependence, the reliance on science, the willingness to collaborate across borders. They can be a voice for that because they are seen as a more honest broker of the messaging. And so messenger is important, and I think NGOs are very critical to the success of that. Business and NGOs working together can create the message.